Well, I'd like to say good evening, good afternoon. My name is D.A. Williams, and I'm so glad that you felt your way over to WDKK Radio this evening. And I want to say at the outset that I have been anticipating this particular conversation, well, for quite a while now. When I first became familiar with Natalie Brown and the tremendous music that she's doing, I was just absolutely blown away. And we are going to be joined in just a few moments by Natalie, who is standing by patiently waiting to greet you, the listeners. I want to say welcome once again to WDKK Radio for those who are listening here at Blog Talk Radio, for those who are listening at Ustream, and for those that are actually tuning into the show over at WDKKRadio.com. We welcome you all to the broadcast this evening. Well, I'm not going to take a lot of time at the top of the broadcast, but I do want to mention one particular show that we're going to be doing next week. On next week, Thursday, the 24th of September, we're going to be joined by Shoshana Bean, a tremendous artist, has some really good material out there, has just released a new album by the name of Superhero. This is another conversation that you'll definitely want to tune into. I'll be telling you more about that particular episode, or actually you can go over to WDKKRadio.com, look under the upcoming guest on the show, and find out all of the information that you would like to have about Shoshana Bean. But this evening, in just a few moments, as I said, we're going to be joined by Natalie Brown, and I am just really looking forward to, well, just unpacking all of the information that she is doing. A little later in the broadcast, we will be opening the phone lines. The guest call-in number, of course, is 718-305-6332. Again, that guest call-in number is 718-305-6332. Well, that's all of the house cleaning that I'm going to do today. But you know, the one thing that I found out about today, I woke up this morning and I thought about, well, what is it that I want to accomplish today? And the one thing that I could think as I looked out, saw the good weather, knew what I had to get done, I said, you know something? It's a beautiful day.
Yesterday, I'm summoning all the good vibes my way.
Now, see, that's the type of song there that if you wake up in the morning and you put that on, there's no possible way you can have a bad day. That song just makes you want to just skip on out the door and take care of what you need to get taken care of. It's a Beautiful Day. That is off of Natalie Brown's most recent release. Natalie, how are you doing this evening?
I'm doing awesome, D.A. How are you?
I'm doing great. It's a beautiful day.
It is a beautiful day.
It really is, and I want to say at the top of the conversation that I really do appreciate you taking the time out and coming on to have this conversation with me, and I really do enjoy your music.
Oh, thank you. Well, I really appreciate the invite. It's always so great to just connect with people and learn about new people. So I love these shows. They're wonderful.
Absolutely, and it was kind of interesting. I was sitting here this morning and I was working out some things and putting the show together, and I got a message on Facebook from one of my friends on Facebook, and they said, DA, I don't understand what's happening. I clicked the link to Natalie Brown's show and it's just buffering, and I started laughing, and I had to write back and say, okay, if you read the message real carefully, it says tonight at 7 p.m. and she just kind of cracked up. I mean, you have people who couldn't wait.
An A+ for that person. Thank you, whoever you are. That's
Absolutely.
great.
And I'm sure that she is listening in. Now, tell me, who is Natalie Brown?
Ooh, she is a multifaceted, kind of complex person at times. She is a person who loves other people very, very, very much. She's a person who loves music, obviously. She's a person who just wants to connect with as many souls possible through this gift called music. That's, I guess, it in a nutshell.
That's great. Now, were you born into a musical family?
Well, it's interesting, music was always in my family. Neither of my parents were musicians. My father played clarinet when he was younger, but never really, not professionally. So no professional musicians. I do know that some generations back, I'm not sure how many, 3 or 4, there's a famous opera singer on my father's side of the family. But no, not really. No, I don't come from a musical lineage at all, really.
Okay, so what inspired you to get involved in music, or entertainment, I should say?
Well, it's funny. Ever since I was really little, I mean, music is like my form of prayer, I guess. I don't know. It's just always been something that I've done. I've always sung. I mean, my mom says I sang before I talked, and it's true, and it's really funny, too, because, they didn't understand my form of singing at all. Like, they didn't, and I guess, my parents are both British. They come from a pretty white background of music, so to speak. They were never really into soul or anything. My dad was really into jazz. My mom was more into folk music, and like traditional British English kind of songs and stuff. But for me, I don't know, D.A. I always had it in me. It's like how I can fully express myself and communicate. I prefer that medium. I'm funny. I'm very outgoing, but I'm also I have a very shy side, and I just find that the way that I can truly and honestly express my soul is through my music, and I think I realized that very young. I mean, I'm talking 3 or 4, I can remember. I've always been like a total night owl, and I would just sit by a window and sing. I would just make up songs and sing, and it's sort of how I got through my pain as a child, my joy, everything. So that's really, I fell in love with it. It was my form of communication, and then I never thought about singing as a profession really until my teens. It wasn't, I just always sang in choirs, and I loved music and stuff. I kind of wanted to be an actress when I was young, because I was a little ham and used to love doing that. I think I always wanted to be some kind of entertainer. I wanted to bring something to people through whatever medium, but it really wasn't until my teen years that I realized that it was a gift. I was not raised in a religious home, but I became a Christian when I was a young teenager, and got into gospel music, and, weird stuff would happen, like I would sing and people would get healed, or, weird stuff like that, or I would just kind of sing over people. And so it kind of, it was at that time that people, I realized, wow, there's like something here, maybe I should explore that. Now, later on down the road, my spiritual views changed. I got out of the gospel scene and stuff, but I do know that music has a lot of power and it has the ability to do a lot of things for people. That's why we can't live without music. It's everywhere, right?
Right.
So, yeah, that's sort of how I came into that. That's how it was sort of birthed.
Okay, yeah, because I was going to say, and I was just listening, and it just really confirms a kind of a theory, that I kind of approach music by, because it's my position that music really is a universal language.
I agree
it transcends, it transcends barriers and all sorts of stuff. And one of the things that I found interesting was that you actually toured with Ron Canoli.
Yes, I did. Ron was sort of I was pro just slightly before that, but the word kind of got out about this little white girl in Canada who could sing, I guess, like I could, and back then it was still kind of a novelty for the soulful white girl or whatever. I don't know, whatever you want to call it. But, I had been doing worship leading as a teenager and was invited to come down to the United States and selected to sing with Ron Canoli for his Welcome Home album, and toured around the States with him and his sons, Bingo and Sam, and the whole team. And, that was a really, really interesting experience for me. I was very blessed to have that opportunity, and it was definitely interesting for me.
Absolutely. Yeah, because I thought it interesting because this week, by no planning of my own, but it seemed like all of my broadcasts this week were really geared towards a lot of soul and R&B artists. And I was talking to different people, and I was mentioning your name, and and it kind of floored me because I found out that we have a couple of mutual acquaintances.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Terry Bello.
Oh, okay, yeah. Yes, it does.
And Law.
Oh, and Law, yes, I know Law very well. Yeah, great guy.
Yeah. And, we were just talking, and they spoke very highly of you. And
they're all both great, too.
Yeah, I told him, I said, you don't have to convince me, because I can tell from the content of her music, that she really takes what she does seriously. She's put a lot of time into developing her gift, and she realizes the power of what she's doing. And that's a great thing. We're going to unpack that a little bit more. But let's take a listen to another selection that you have. And, well, let's just say everybody just needs to kind of hold their head up high. And we'll be right back with Natalie Brown.
Feels like there's no Oh, I'm so excited. Okay. Resort reservations, check. Plane tickets, check. iPod, check. Swimsuit, check. Don't they require us to turn off our electronic devices for part of the flight? Huh, that's not gonna work. Mary, please cancel my plane tickets. I'm driving. Thank you. WDKKRadio.com. Enough said.
And once again, we'd like to welcome everyone to WDKK Radio. We are in conversation with Natalie Brown, and we just listened to Hold Your Head Up High off of her most recent release, Random Thoughts. Natalie, I have to ask you this. Mm-hmm. I know you're a tremendous singer, a lyricist. Do you play music as well? You're a keyboard player?
No, I only play my voice. It's funny because I never really had the opportunity to learn an instrument like piano or guitar or anything when I was younger. I did actually start to take music classes, and then I actually got the cannoli tour, so I withdrew from school. So no, I'm not a pianist. I work with an amazing collaborative producer and writer, Jeremy Riccara, and basically how I kind of do stuff. We write in a number of different ways, but a lot of times what I'll do is I'll have a lyric and I'll just sing it out with my voice, and then the song can be built around it that way, or he'll be working on something and bring it to me, or we'll kind of sit down together. But I basically write with my voice. I have tons of note paper, and I have my little tape recorder, because melody is really important to me. So that's basically how it comes out. I'd love to learn maybe piano. It's just I've been busy, and really I wear a lot of hats already. You know what I mean? We run our own label, we run our own publishing companies. So just the time to do that, and it's working fine as it is. And what you realize is you can't be perfect or great at everything. So sometimes, and I like the collaborative effort. So who knows? One day maybe I'll sit down and take the proper time to learn piano. I'm a bit of a perfectionist, so whatever I do, I really like to do it well and put my entire effort behind it.
Okay. Yeah, because I was just wondering about what the process was, in the writing. So obviously you're working with some individuals. You all have very good chemistry.
Yeah, I work with one person. Yeah, I've worked with one person for 10 years. I had done worked with other people before that, and what I found is that they didn't understand and it's not meant to be egotistical or anything, but in today's music, a lot of times the track is the star, and melody sometimes will get a little bit lost in that, and I'm talking about contemporary radio music. For me, I've always felt like the words and the melody are very, very important to me, so I've really focused on that. And when I met Jeremy, I met him through some session work that I had done actually in San Francisco, and we just really clicked, and we, songwriting is a sensitive thing for me. It's a very vulnerable process for me. It's not for everybody, just for me. I'm a very emotional person, so I kind of really get into it. And just to be able to have that kind of person who I can be completely transparent with. There's times I'll be in the studio and I'll just start crying, if I'm writing or tracking something. I needed somebody who could understand that I'm that kind of emotional creature, and to understand how to deal with it. And we've just really worked well together. It doesn't mean that I wouldn't work with someone else in the future. It's just that I've really found magic with Jeremy, and he really respects me as a vocalist. A lot of producers will try to give you line by line what to sing, and I'm just not into that. I've really struggled with that when I've worked with producers who are like that. I just like the song to develop as organically as possible, you know what I mean, without plotting and planning every single thing. Obviously you have the song written in the melody, but there needs to be that magic, that room to breathe, and I really appreciate that. He gives me that space to sort of co-produce my own vocals. He doesn't overproduce me. He comes with his ideas, but we can sit there and go back and forth and decide what's right for the song, because it's all about, at the end of the day, we're all there to serve the song. So that's sort of a little bit of my philosophy on that.
And that's a very different take on artistry. But I think that's what makes the difference between a good song and a nice song. A good song is really going to have the music is going to complement the vocals are going to complement the music. Nothing's overshadowing, and I think that's what what I noted when I listened to your material.
Thank you.
Vocally, oh, you're quite welcome. Vocally, who really inspired you as you were developing your craft?
I would say I'm inspired by different things, and I'll just say as far as just vocals go, Gladys Knight is amazing to me. I love Gladys. Whitney Houston, I used to fall asleep almost every night listening to her singing. I loved Whitney so much. When Mariah came out, I really, really I just love those kind of voices. I don't know, there's something about those three ladies' work that I love, and in later life, as I've matured and grown up, I guess, I still love those artists, but I'm now getting into more I'm wanting different sounds. I'm wanting to, I guess when you do this for your life, for your living, you hear so much, you maybe don't hear things the same as just a regular listener. So now I'm pushing my limits. I try to listen to more avant-garde stuff if I can, or I'm always trying to discover new music. And the net, it's obviously wonderful for that because I get tweeted different stuff every day, so it's wonderful.
Right.
I mean, it's awesome. I could sit here 24/7 just listening to new music, obviously, but as far as who really inspired me, who did I want to, what did I want to do? I don't know. Whitney's voice was just always so clear and sang through right to my heart. Gladys just always moved me. I remember I heard Midnight Train to Georgia when I probably was about 3, and I was like, whoa, and I've just always loved Gladys Knight. And then obviously in my gospel time, I love CeCe Winans. I still enjoy her. There's Crystal Lewis. There's many gospel artists, and gospel music in general, really did inspire me. Also, I've been blessed to just hear all these great voices, and just see, obviously, I don't want to be like somebody else. I always wanted to develop my own voice, but I just think that a voice where you can understand what the lyric is, because I think it's really, songs are to give messages, and as far as I'm concerned, in terms of how I write. But I think that just to be able to hear what the person's saying and stuff, and with clarity, is really awesome. So I've always tried to do that.
Yeah, and you do it well, because that's something else that I noted is, with a lot of the vocalists today, everybody's doing a lot of riffs and et cetera, but you can't really understand what they're saying.
Sometimes.
So when I think back to the Gladys and Aretha and Minnie Riperton and all of these individuals, they were really using their voice as an instrument, and I think that's something that we're starting to see resurfacing, thanks to a lot of artists like yourself.
Well, thank you. That's what I hope, I mean, I think, there's a place and time for everything. You look through every period of music history, and there's so much stuff, but yeah, it's interesting where, I think, this whole American Idol thing has brought this thing where it's okay, are we doing technical runs, or are we singing a song? And if we're singing a song, what are we doing? We're conveying a message. So if the message gets lost, what's the point of the song? You know what I mean? That's sort of how I see it,
That's for real. That's for real.
Yeah.
And this has to be one of the easiest interviews or conversations that I've had, because everything that you say leads right into where I was going.
Oh, wow. We're psychically connected.
Absolutely. And speaking of the music industry today, what do you see going on? Because you have your hands in just about every facet of the industry.
I do.
What do you really see going on?
I see a lot of uncertainty going on, because nobody really knows where things are going. I think it's not just the music business. I think the net has revolutionized a lot of things, which is incredible in many, many ways. But in other ways, it's now everything's here and it's available for free, and what do we do when we were monetizing other things? There are a lot of amazing revolutions going on, but I do think that right now what I'm seeing is that from the top level of the industry to the ones just starting out, nobody knows what to do. It used to be that back, let's just say even in 1995, 96, You would go and you would be a talented musician, and you would record your demo, and you would go out there and you'd shop for a record deal, or you would opt to, do shows and get a regional following and shop. It was all about shopping, this demo. Well, nowadays, no, it's not so much, because A&R people who have the power and authority to sign are so worried about keeping their jobs. What's happening more and more and more, and it always happened, but it's to a higher degree, is that it's called pipeline signings. So Timbaland will have an artist that he knows, who will be more of a fast track, and they'll trust his name, his brand, so they're more likely to do that. The days of sending a demo in are gone. I think it's very rare now. I'm sure it still must happen, but I think it's very rare for an artist to get signed that way. But even then, now even just getting signed, it used to be that you'd sell records and recoup. Well, now you can't. So now they have 360 deals that they're trying with, which is where labels will get a piece of every little pie that you have baking in the oven there, your tour, your merch, your royalties, your publishing, everything. They're trying to get a piece of that. But again, now that the market is so saturated that it's really hard to break through, even for majors. I heard it was a few years ago, there was one artist signed. They spent $2 million, and I think they sold 73,000 records. Wow, that's scary, because it used to be if you had the money. The complaint used to be for us indies, oh, God, if I could have, a $2 or $3 million budget, I could do this and this and this, because, it costs to do radio airplay. You have to hire a promoter. You have to do the video to go with it. You have to do this massive blanketing campaign. But even now, it's hard, and people's focuses have changed. It used to be that there was only radio and TV, but what do we have now, DA? We have like a million things to occupy our time with, don't we? We have free content on YouTube. We've got Twitter. We've got Facebook. Everyone's now an artist with a CD on MySpace. There are so many things. Video game is another huge thing. So now what we're left with is what is shattered markets, which is now many more niche markets. And I think a lot of artists, and specifically speaking about the music business, trying to have to find your niche and how do you monetize that niche. And I won't lie, it's very difficult. Thankfully for Jeremy and I, we got into licensing to film and TV and commercial work, and that has been tremendously helpful. But it's definitely a challenge to penetrate. I think it can be done. I think you have to kind of go back to the old school model, and I think that's what's happening. You have to go back to the one heart at a time model, one person at a time, and understand that it's not going to be this quick shot to fame like we've seen. It's going to take time for a long-term career. Of course, there's always going to be those artists who are going to get signed and they're going to get milked for 2 years and then put out to pasture. That's probably always going to continue. But for those of us who would like to do this till our dying breath, we really have to think about long-term. And so, in so far as my team, we've thought about this a lot, and I think, I know that there's some fans out there who get frustrated. They're like, Nat, if you just did this or did this and did this, but they're not thinking about that I want to be 85 and on stage somewhere and, croak with the mic in my hand, you know what I mean? I want to be doing this forever. For as long as my voice is good, I want to be singing and putting records out for people. So you have to think of the long term if you want to do this, for your life, So it's a different game altogether now, totally.
Yeah, it really is, and I really I commend you for taking that approach. Because I talk to a lot of artists who have been in the industry 40, 50 years that are still performing. And a lot of what they're saying is, what they did early on, they had a long-term projection for what they wanted to do. They just weren't looking for the instant fame. And that's what I'm hearing. And you also mentioned former models, going back and looking at how things were done before. Because one thing that I often look at is I look at like AM radio. Primarily because I grew up in the home of a broadcaster, so I'm real familiar with how radio was done, how they were breaking artists, and I see going through like the FM stage and some of the other things that have taken place, that internet is actually postured to do what AM radio did for a lot of artists, but it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work.
Oh yeah.
Now,
yeah,
do you?
It's no joke. I mean, we wear lots of hats in this studio and office here. We run everything, you know, and do get outside help, you know, when we need it. But yeah, if you really want to do it, you have to be. You know, people just think, oh, just make a record. Oh, wow, that's like -5 on the scale of things that you need to do up to 100. There is a lot of stuff, and you really have to want to do it. You know, it has to be because you love doing this, you know, and want to do it.
Exactly. And this is a great conversation. I'm learning so much, and I'm just sitting over here just enjoying it. And we're going to take a short break here. We're going to listen to another one of your selections. We're going to come back, and we're going to chat some more. This is just a wonderful time. Now, before we go, though, because I'm sure before we go to this break, I'm sure that there are people who want to know how they can get a hold of Random Thoughts. So why don't you go ahead and let everyone know where it's available?
Absolutely. The best place to go is to my online home, which is natalie-brown.com. And on the site, on the very top, you'll see that there's links to iTunes, Amazon, Amy Street, and also in the music page, there's also buy links there. The CD is available at iTunes and Amazon Digital and Physical, and you can also get a copy at CD Baby. And I am also selling directly from my website personalized autograph copies. So you would go ahead and order one and put your name and whatever message you want me to write, and I'll go ahead and take care of that for you and mail it out to you with all my love.
All right. Well, there you go. Just go to www.natalie-brown.com, and she does have a great site, and everything is there for you. And we'll be back in just a moment with Natalie Brown.
Ooh, yeah. It just feels insane.
Natalie, I'm sure you have heard this before, but girl, you can sing.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
You know, a friend of mine who's listening to the show, he said he was sitting there listening with his son, and he sent me a message through the private chat, and he said, man, she has one hell of a voice.
That's sweet.
I translate that to say, girl, you can sing. You know, there are singers and then there's people who can sing. You can sing.
Yeah,
that's for
with
real.
the big A, right? That's great.
And what we're going to do right now, we have had a young lady holding for just a few moments who wanted to come on and say hello to you. And so, too, Miss Love, I want you to know that your phone line is open, and thank you very much for holding so patiently.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Can you hear me? Oh. Hi, Natalie. This is Drina.
Oh, Drina, how are you doing, sweetheart?
I'm fine. A little tired. I had 2 exams today, but I'm good. I'm hoping
you did? Oh, wow. Wow. So how do you think you did on them?
I think I did good. I put an all-nighter.
Oh, wow. Good for you, girl. Okay, we're going to be sending good exam result vibes. Huh?
I pulled one of your moves. I stayed up all night.
Girl, you know. I've been trying to get better. I've been giving myself a 2 a.m. cutoff. DA, you see, I have this problem. I'm a total night owl. It's terrible. I've been this way since I was 5, and everyone on Twitter is now bugging me because we came up with this new word called twacking. So I'm supposed to get twacked at 2 a.m. if I'm not off.
Whacked. I'm gonna have to use that one.
Yeah. So Drina, I hope you do great on your exams. It's great to hear your voice, and thank you so much for your support. You've been so sweet, and I'm really, really glad you got to meet Lisa Ling. That was really cool.
I know. I'm very happy, too. It's just all this week I've just been, so inspired. Like yesterday, a poet came up, and I like poetry, as you know, and she came up, and I did an open mic. And I'm just like, wow, all this week I've just been so inspired. And then you as well, you know, even with your Twitter and all that, you know, because I never really had all of that when I was growing up. So it's like now, even though I don't think I have it, I do, you know, because me meeting Lisa Ling, then me yesterday meeting a poet, and then now I'm talking to you. It's just all amazing.
Wow.
And I really appreciate everything that you're doing, like you said, people out there, I don't think, the music is just crazy to me right now. I think people just doing it just to be doing it. They're not doing it from, you know, their heart. And I can tell that you're doing it from your heart. And I really love your music. And I will buy your CD. I will buy it.
Oh, thank you, sweetie. I appreciate that. Well, just knowing that you love it is a blessing enough for me. And, you know, it's really great to meet you. I've just been meeting so many great, awesome people, and you're one of them, and I appreciate you very much, and I'm excited to see you shine with your poetry and everything you're doing. It's awesome.
Thank you. It was nice talking to you.
And thank you for calling in, Miss Love.
All right, sweetie.
Okay.
Thanks.
All right, bye-bye.
Okay, enjoy the rest of the
Bye-bye.
show, and thanks for holding so patiently.
Okay.
That's great. That's great. See, that's what happens when you have the life of an artist. Natalie, I did an interview last night, and the gentleman was calling in from Cyprus. He had just finished doing 2 sets. Yeah, and he called in. I said, well, what time is it over there now, man? He said, it's 2 a.m. in the morning.
Wow, I know. Seriously, though, and, you know, I try to be disciplined. Like right now, I'm sort of home for a bit, and I was like, okay, I'm going to get into a routine, but I don't know. I find it very hard. I don't know. I'm always creative at night, and I love I don't know, that there's some energy that happens at night. I don't know what it is. But anyway, yeah, it's just how it is, I guess.
Absolutely. That's the life of an artist. And we're going to listen to some more of your selections, but this phone line is really heating up, and there's one here. I'm going to take this one.
Okay.
The last 4 is 6383, and who do we have on the line?
The LAW.
Law is in effect.
What is the deal?
How are you?
Oh man, I'm real good now. Like that.
Oh, that's cool. Wow, it's weird. I mean, we've spent so much time, all of us, tweeting, and it's weird to hear everyone's voices. It's great.
It's finally on. Believe it or not, we're making history. This is the first time that I've actually heard her voice I mean, not the singing voice, but the talking part of it.
Yeah, it is. Wow, that's cool. Wow, yeah, and Law, wow, you just, you're a hard-working man, that's all I got to say. A hard-working, talented soul, definitely.
And same thing to you. You are a hard worker. What you want to say, D? I'm sorry.
I'm going to say that's the hardest working kid in show business. Law.
It is the hardest working kid in show business, that's right. Oh, wow, that's funny. Wow. Excellent.
Yeah, man. Sorry.
Go ahead, Law.
No, I was just going to say, man, I'm enjoying listening to you, and she said it right. You know, we are night owls by nature. Anybody in the music business of any, you know, gender, you already know what comes with the territory. So I have the same problem trying to get off in sparse time, and that's never going to be a balance that's too controllable once you get to a level. But let me just say to everybody listening, and to everybody around the world, wherever you are, what you're listening to is the real deal. Natalie is what you call the beauty personified. That's consummate artist. That's somebody who's doing real music and knows the history on top of all that and got a voice to go with it, and it doesn't hurt that she look good either. So that it all plays a part. It all plays a part. Natalie is the truth. I've been having fun building with this young lady for a while now, you know, just through the power of the net, and we have a lot of intimate discussions about the music industry and things like that, and it's just good to see that there are other people besides me that have the same path and feel the same way, and then to be friends in this business, which is not, you know, usually you hear a lot of stories behind that, and that, you know, I can honestly say that she's a very good friend of mine, so.
Thank you, Law. Yeah, you know, I mean, and I think it's neat because what I'm finding with you, Law, and with some other artists, I think there's a real revolution going on, and it's sort of bubbling under right now, but I think we have a lot of power to change a lot of what is going on that may not be as desirable in the business. So, you know, big ups to you, and keep grinding and keep doing your thing, and I know, you know, when I come to New York, we'll definitely have to hook up.
Oh, you already, that's done deal, signed, and sealed. You already know this.
Yeah. Cool,
right.
Awesome. Thank you for being wonderful.
Thank you.
But I need both of you all to make one commitment though.
And what's that?
When you all do, because I know it's coming. When you all do a project together, it's coming. Let's be sure now. Y'all make the commitment to me that you will come back and drop it right here on WDKK Radio.
That's a given. And actually, we're both laughing because wasn't that one of the first things I said to you upon listening to your stuff the first time we met?
I think
that was
so.
The first thing. If she can't even remember, that's the first thing I said. I said at some point or sometime something's going to happen where we're going to do
definitely.
Something. That's definitely going to happen. The world will be in some great trouble when that happens.
Yeah, you know it.
That's right. You know that's right. And man, we appreciate you, Law. You know that we've talked, and we appreciate you calling in, man. And enjoy the rest of the show. For everyone who doesn't recognize the voice or the name, that is Law, the artist Law. He was on our show a couple of months ago. You can go back in the archives and download that segment, or you can actually go out to www.myspace.com/Planet12. Is that correct, Law?
That's Law Planet 12.
Law Planet 12. And you can find out more about Law and the tremendous work he's doing. And keep your ears out. When you hear that Law and Natalie have released a project, watch out. Planet 12 is upon you.
He's speaking into existence now. You can't even get mad at him for that.
Hey, we'll definitely do it. When things clear up, and, you know, definitely. We'll have to find the right thing to do, but we'll definitely do it.
Yes, we will. All right, cool.
Okay, enjoy the rest of the show, Law.
All right, thank you, D.A. Love you, girl. I'll see you soon, all right?
Love you, too. All right, bye.
All right, be easy, y'all.
All right. That's great. That's great. Another tremendous artist. I really do appreciate everything he's done as well. Now, just before we go and listen to another one of your selections, I do something with every guest that I have on the show, and I'm sure that you have one of these individuals that I'm going to describe. Do you have one of those aunts who was like very instrumental in raising you, and then whenever you're doing something publicly, you have to give a shout out to them, or you're in the doghouse? Do you have one of those aunts?
We have like such a small family. I don't really have an auntie. I have like adopted mothers all over the internet. Yeah. Right. So there's one. There's two. So I'll shout out Linda Alexander, who's an author, who's kind of like my adopted U.S. mom, and she's an awesome lady. She actually wrote an article on me a couple months ago, a really sweet article that she wrote. And then there's Deb. She's Gypsy Owl on Twitter, and she's always messaging me to make sure I'm eating and drinking all right and everything. So I have to give shout outs to them.
Absolutely. Now, I have one that listens to every show that I do. She is my most faithful listener. But I have to have all of my guests give her a shout out. Her name is Myrtle. She's actually,
say it again?
I believe her name is Myrtle. She's actually in the chat room, Myrtle E. Collier. And you've got to give a shout out to Myrtle for me.
Myrtle, we love you. DA and I, we love you. Thank you for tuning in. A big shout out to you, a big hug, and a big kiss.
There you go. Now I'm out of the doghouse for at least one more show. And what we're going to do now,
wipe your brow.
Absolutely. And I am sweating. We are psychically connected, huh? But you know what? Law said something. He said, wherever people are listening around the world. So let's take a listen to Around the World, and we'll be right back.
Pack your bags, let's get away. I'm in the mood to leave today. Don't you worry about the rest and all the bills can be paid. Tell your boss that you're on leave. Call your friends and family. Hold the mail and change the message on your voicemail. We'll be gone for quite some time. Lots of places we can find. People everywhere will see your message written in the sky. You're all working, I'm all play. Why don't we just meet halfway? Pack your bags, I want to leave today. Take you on a coffee ride. No need to rush. Let's take our time. Take our time, baby. Unwind. To be alright. Chocolate San Francisco trees. We'll be dancing in the streets. Make our way to Mardi Gras and funky blues in New Orleans. Real sugar loaf will fly. Listen to the Big Ben chime. Ride the ferry across the channel in Parisian set the mind. Travel to the Taj Mahal. See the wonders in Nepal. Listen to the roaring thunder of the waters of the Nile. Barrel down Niagara Falls. In Ibiza, lose control. Pack your bags, I want to leave today. Back down the world with you. You wanna come and fly into the sky. Right, unwind to be alive. Let's rock around the world. We'll rock around the world and we'll have all that we need. It will be you and me and the places we'll see. There'll be treasures to find in the sparkling sky. We'll fulfill our desire. Let your spirit fly free. There's no place we can't be. We'll do more than sightsee. Life's a journey we should take. Lots of memories to make. Pack your bags, I want to leave today. Take you on a ride. No need to rush. No need to rush. Let's take our time to be alive. Rock around the
WDKK Radio. Hello?
We love your music.
Thank you. Where are you calling from?
Delta B3X2. This is what we call great music.
Wow. There is intelligent life out there. WDKKradio.com for those who know good music.
Natalie, I tell you, I can't dance, but I'm really doing. I'm putting forth a really good effort.
You know? Just tap a toe, DA. Just tap a toe.
That's for real. And go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, that's fine.
It's interesting because all of your music is just not good music, that makes you want to dance, but it's also music that, when you really listen to the message that you're conveying in the music, it's very powerful. It's a very powerful message as well. And that again is something that when we listen to a lot of the music that's being produced, and I'm not trying to I'm not ragging on anybody, but much of the music nowadays just doesn't really have a whole lot of content. It's not something you sit down and you want to think about, what you're listening to. But you're really hitting the nail on the head there.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I think that all kinds of music have their place, but it's funny. I was talking with with Jeremy last night about music. We were laughing because he was, I think, watching some stuff on YouTube from the 80s, and he's like, "Wow, we actually used to think this was good," and I was saying, I'm finding myself having to go back, to like the 60s and back to Stevie and back to the Mini and back to Tina and all that stuff to find those songs that are lasting the test of time. And he was saying, it would be really funny. We should think of a set of songs to just mark down, and in 15 years from now, see if they're still relevant or if they say anything, if they speak anything to us. And I know there's a lot of really good, relevant music being put out there, but unfortunately, you just really have to search for it, these days. So I sometimes I get a little scared to see what are we going to be listening to in 20 years? What are our classics going to be, for our generation? I don't know.
Right. I have an idea that some of our classics are going to be songs like Around the World.
I wish.
It's a Beautiful Day. Because I'm thinking back to the statement that you made earlier about this change that, we live in a world that's undergoing a lot of change, a lot of transition.
Absolutely.
And it is impacting the music industry. It's impacting the broadcast industry. But again, there are enough of us who kind of get it, who understand that this is a real opportunity that we have now. To really take the best of what used to be and take it to the next level.
I would love to.
Reality radio. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I wish I could sit here and say, this is going to happen, and then this, and this, and it's going to result in this. I don't. And of course, nothing in life is predictable, right? We don't know what's going to happen the next day. But all I know is that in my sphere and my abilities and whatever I'm doing, I'm just going to try as hard as I can to just put out there what I feel is good music. Now, obviously, you can't, people can't love everything, and I know that, for some people my music maybe won't be their taste, but I think within, my heart, as long as I just put my heart out there and I do my very best, I think that's something that I can offer, and I hope that it makes an impact. Even in the short time that I've been in the business, it's so nice to hear about songs that I wrote way a long time ago, that made it on my first album that people are still enjoying. And I just want to always try at least to put out music that will still in some sort of way be relevant to someone's heart or soul, 20, 30, 40, 70, however many years, down the road. That's all I can hope for.
Well, you're on the right path, that's for sure. Is there a third album in the works, or are you still?
We're actually. I just actually moved back to Canada from the States, so I've been, dealing with a lot of personal resettling and stuff. But yeah, I mean, we've been talking about the third album. We haven't really begun writing. I mean, I'm always writing. Something. Waking up at goodness knows what time to write down things. I get a lot of stuff in my dreams, so I write it down. But we haven't actually started working on the next album. What we really want to do is do a tour before we do the next album, and I would really like, if my dreams could come true, to do a live DVD and put that out maybe before the third album. But we've got a lot of ideas and things that we're working on right now, and just sort of seeing where those things go before exploring the third record.
Okay, which leads me right into my next question. Boy, you're good. No. Speaking of tours and performances, do you have anything planned for the States?
We are looking into booking the States right now, actually. We are actually going to be, I think, probably working with a Canadian band this time. All of my other bands have been U.S.-based, but I think we're going to do a Canadian-based band. So obviously that entails, visas and stuff like that. So we have to look into all that. And then, yeah, what I want to do is sort of see from the fans where I should route. So I'm going to be doing some things with my website to see about just getting the cities together. And we're definitely, actually, we were talking about dates last night. So we're definitely working on that right now, and what I'll do is put all the info on my site when it's ready to be announced and everything.
Okay. Because I put in a demand for you to come to Ohio. I did that earlier today.
Ohio, okay. I'll write that down right now.
Yes, just
okay.
so you know.
I got a box check for Ohio.
Yeah, anywhere Midwest.
Midwest, yeah. We were looking at Chicago, so.
Chicago would work. I would drive to Chicago to see Natalie Brown live. I definitely would.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, and in fact, if that because I'll be keeping track of what's going on, because I also host a radio show out at one of the local colleges here.
Excellent.
In Dayton. And so there
awesome.
may be things that can be put together for colleges as well. Because you got
definitely.
You have some really good stuff, and but in listening to all of your music, there is something about you that I'm trying to put my finger on, but I don't think I'm going to be able to do it. We'll talk about that in just a moment, right after we listen to this. Okay?
All right.
Okay.
Sure, absolutely.
And once again, I do want to thank all of the listeners and supporters for tuning in to WDKK Radio. And I do want to mention again that we are not going to be able to play all of the material off of Random Thoughts, but you can go to www.natalie-brown.com and you can order your copy. And I believe that Natalie said that she is actually doing autographed copies. Is that correct, Natalie?
That is correct. Yep, absolutely.
All right. And now there wasn't anything I was really trying to figure out that I couldn't put my finger on. I just had to figure out a good way to segue into that song, You're Mysterious.
You're so mysterious. Okay. Wow.
Okay. Yeah, that's what that was. But in listening to that, do you write a lot out of life experience and relationships, or do you just kind of get inspired to write about something and you write?
Totally both ways. I think this record, more than my first record. My first record was like a very, like all my records are personal, obviously. All my songs are personal, but my first record was me getting some therapy out. my second record was more a really heavy combination of imagination or observation along with, some personal stuff, but definitely it was a lot more of a rounded approach to writing this time. I mean, obviously, there was quite a few number of years between the records, and I did a lot of growing up during that time. And obviously, when you grow up, your perspective changes and how you approach things changes. And my writing, because of all the film and TV writing that I had done, and honing my craft, in the workshop, working away, I really took a different approach. And we consciously took a different approach to this record because I wanted it to be. It was funny because I'd had a whole record done, another record called Polyphony that never hasn't seen the light of day yet, and I kind of after that went through a period of just writing all kinds of different stuff. So Random Thoughts kind of came about because it is sort of a bunch of random thoughts. It wasn't really a cohesive theme that I went with. For the album concept. It just turned out, I was like, well, I'm in so many different places. I went through so many different things. I observed so many different things. I went so many different places that it was just sort of the amalgamation of those experiences, thoughts, and observations, and hence the title, Random Thoughts. Okay.
Now, it's amazing because now you handle your own distribution and everything, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we have a distribution company. We have the Orchard, but we do handle a lot of, we're the business behind everything too. So Jeremy and I, we co-run our own label, Identity Music Group, and basically, we're dealing with all the deals and paperwork and setting all the accounts up and everything. So we do that directly.
Okay, so you are as knowledgeable on the business end as you are on the creative end.
Yeah, absolutely. You have to be. I think as an independent artist, you really have to be because you need to know your business in order to make business happen. You know what I mean?
Okay. Now, if you were going to be giving advice to young artists, because there are so many who carry the label independent artists, then when you talk to them, you can kind of tell they just went into a studio, put out a CD, and they think that that's going to be it. But what kind of advice would you give to people that are getting into this business and want to do it independently?
Yeah, I think first of all, you have to decide if you're the type of material to do this because there is a lot of work involved. People see me tweeting, and that's, I'm actually doing part of my job as I'm doing that. It's a social thing, but it's also partly business. 24 hours, you're constantly thinking. I think the most important thing is first to understand that it is a heavy workload to do this right, to understand that and to be willing to take that on, to be prepared to sacrifice a lot in order to do that. That would be the first thing that I would definitely ask an artist. Are you willing to put 24 hours a day, 365 for a long time, and understand that it's going to take time to build something that is a solid foundation? The second thing is that you need to be reading every article you can on anything to do with the music business, not just the higher level, the majors, because that really doesn't apply to us. All of this whole get a PR agent and, get on Oprah, that's going to take a few years to get to that level. So you have to be prepared and understand that you're going to need to do the BTR, you're going to need to do the PodSafe Music Network, you're going to need to do Mevio, you're going to need to work MySpace, you're going to need to work Facebook, you're going to need to work Twitter, and to do all that properly and without killing yourself from totally overworking, you need to do a lot of reading on strategy. And really for me, I've done a lot of that. And I actually set up a website because I get a lot of questions from artists. I have a website called musicbusiness101.info. And I have put on there all of my years of books that I've read, links to articles, different resources, tons of stuff. And I'll leave it in the chat room, the link, because I feel like, as somebody who's gone through this, it's my obligation to give back that knowledge to people who are just starting out. So I do put everything that I can on there, but there's a ton of resources, available to us. I think you just have to be prepared. Thank you. You have to be prepared to do your research, your homework, and work, and just understand that, it's going to take some time. It's going to take some time to build, and the very important thing to do is to build a solid foundation. For me, one of the first things I did when I started writing was I started my own publishing company. I signed with BMI. You can sign with ASCAP or BMI. Those are the ones that you can openly sign with. CSAC is an invitation-only performing rights organization. There are some great resources, and like I said, visit the Music Business 101. You need to learn about copyright. You need to know about deals, but don't worry about major record deals and stuff. You're not going to see that right away. You have to understand that it's a one baby step in front of the other kind of process, and just be very open, be very alert for new things. I mean, Twitter just came out of nowhere, didn't it? And it's now a huge, huge tool. I've found it to be very useful. Test everything out. Be on every website you possibly can, because you just never know who you're going to bump into. If you're someone who's just looking to collaborate, get on SoundClick and get on MySpace and seek out artists who you want to work with. And you know what? Always just be learning. Listen to shows like this. Listen to the advice that seasoned major label artists give, because now there's this whole thing, and I've talked to several artists, and I won't mention their names because they are on major labels, but they're going through legal issues with their labels. Everyone has this big dream of getting this big deal and being famous, but you don't realize there's a lot of politics involved. I mean, I've had several people approach me for major labels, but it ended up being, I was going to be a pawn in a political game, and so you have to watch that. Not everyone has pure motives. So in order to safely protect your music and your vision, you do need to take the reins into your hand. And it's a lot of work, yes, but it's also a lot of fun, and you grow as a person, your mind expands, and you can get to the point where it's like, okay, I can choose to partner, or you do a joint venture with a major or major distributor, or you can get to the point where you can make a living and be comfortable and do this on your own and not have to do that. If you want to be famous, if you want to be global famous, Kelly Clarkson, whatever, then yeah, you probably need a major label, but, you have to just judge what is your motivation to do this. Do you want to make great music for the rest of your life, or do you want to be famous? And there's two different sort of paths to take depending on what you want to do. But I think the thing is then just to be confident in yourself. There's going to be times where it's a roller coaster and you're up and down, up and down, up and down. You don't know which way is up. Have a good team around you, even if it's one or two people that you really trust. Make sure that those people are there for you and that you can spill your guts and don't bottle stuff up, and just always be in communication and dialogue and talk, and just get out there and connect with your fans, because at the end of the day we make music because we want to connect with people, and we want to shine a little light into their heart or whatever, or make them dance or whatever it is that you want to do, but it's all about those people, and those people are very, very, very precious, and to never forget that. It's about them. It's not really about you,
Absolutely. And that is really, really sound advice. And that website, for those who are not in the chat room, is www.musicbusiness101.info. But again, they can find that information at natalie-brown.com as well, correct?
Yep. Yeah, on my site, if you go on the left-hand side, it says resources for artists, and there's a link to it. And you know what? Can I quickly just give a shout out to somebody? They've been very patient with me.
Absolutely.
There is there's a really, really talented guy named Miguel from Ireland, and he has a great band, and I'm just going to give you their name. It's called Lineage. So I just wanted to give him a shout-out because he had asked me to give him a shout-out earlier today. So, Miguel, thanks for listening in and tuning in.
Okay, absolutely. So Lineage?
Thank you. Lineage,
okay,
yeah.
And,
yeah.
Okay, and if you can remember, why don't you shoot me, if they have a website, why don't you shoot me some information on them?
Absolutely, I will do that for sure.
Okay, and we have about 10 minutes left. It's amazing how time flies when you're having fun.
It does, doesn't it?
Absolutely. And we do have a caller who is holding. The last 4 is 5331, area code 469. Thanks for calling WDKK. And who do we have?
This is me, Taylor. I was just calling in to show Natalie some love.
Aww. Now, DA, this is another young lady you need to have on your show. She is going to bring back legitimacy to female MCs. She's a wonderful artist. So, yeah, definitely.
Okay. And what's your name?
Me, Taylor.
Okay. If you can, if you send me an email, just send it to da@WDKKradio.com.
Okay.
And I'll be more than happy to get in contact with you.
All right, I appreciate that.
Okay, absolutely, and thanks for calling.
All right, Miss Nee, thank you for calling in.
All right. Y'all take care.
All right. Talk to you later.
All right,
Bye.
Oh,
bye.
Okay, and that's what I said. There is a bunch of tremendous artists out there, and
there are.
That is one of the things that I'm really committed to doing. Both here on Blog Talk but also on WDKKradio.com, is really providing a platform for a lot of artists out there. So anyone that is interested in being featured, having music played on the station, you can send me an email to da@WDKKradio.com, and I will promptly get back in contact with you. And Natalie, this has been great. I mean, I have really enjoyed this conversation. It was all and more than I anticipated it was going to be.
Oh, I'm so glad, and Dia, I really appreciate, you guys are all unsung heroes, too. I mean, if it weren't for your shows and the Internet stations, there wouldn't be as much of a platform for artists such as myself. So, I mean, it's a team effort. All of us have this amazing power now through the net to get together, to spread knowledge, to put out that music, to just touch lives one at a time. And I think we're in the midst of a really awesome thing, a really awesome movement, and I appreciate you being a part of it.
Absolutely. Now, also, I know that you're scheduled to do a couple of other shows on Blog Talk. Do you have those dates available with you? I know that you're going to be with Mother Knows.
Yeah, Mother Knows. Let me just grab the date. I know I'm doing Mother Knows on, let's see, September 28th, I think. Yeah, Monday, September 28th with Mother, and I can't wait. Mother has been so sweet to me, too. Very, very supportive. And then I have another one coming up with T-Mill on Blog Talk Radio, and that is going to be in November. I don't have the date in front of me right now because I don't have it on my site, but I'm going to actually be doing a giveaway for that one. There's going to be a full discography giveaway with my now out-of-print Christmas album, so we're going to be giving out instructions to everyone on Twitter how they can participate in that contest. So, yeah, those two are the ones that I have scheduled right now. So, yeah, it'll be fun to connect with everyone on those ones.
All right, that is tremendous. We're going to we have about time for one more selection that we're going to bless everyone with, and then we'll be right back for some closing remarks from Natalie, and you all enjoy this. And once again, Natalie, I do want to thank you for all of your time. I did end up extending the show simply so that it didn't cut off. I do understand that, that you have to run, but I don't like for songs or guests to be cut off in giving closing statements. So
that's nice of you,
yeah, and again, you're doing a tremendous job, and anything that I can do to be a support to you, you have my contact information. You always have a standing open invitation on WDKK Radio for anything that's coming up. I'm here for you.
Thank you so much, DA. That really means the world. I mean, that's what this is all about, the net and meeting people such as yourself. And I've been so humbled by the graciousness of all of the wonderful people I've met, you included, and I really, really appreciate you, appreciate your show, appreciate the enthusiasm. Thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Absolutely. And do you have any closing remarks for the fans and listeners?
I would just like to say, that they don't often realize how much, of an impact they have on the artists. I mean, you guys have all become like, friends to me and family, and I appreciate you so much, and I'm just glad to have met the ones that I've met, excited to meet new fans and new friends, and but I just appreciate them very, very much, and thank you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for taking your time to spend here with us tonight to just chat.
Absolutely. And remember, listeners, to go over to www.natalie-brown.com. Support her projects, support everything that she's doing when she gets the information out. Demand that she comes to your city. We want to get her here in the U.S. And, Natalie, you have a great weekend. Thanks again to all of the listeners for tuning in to WDKKRadio.com. And remember, you can also hear Natalie's music on WDKKRadio.com. It is a continual part of the rotation. You can always tune in. And I want to say to all of the listeners, thank you so much for your support. Just continue to support WDKK Radio. It's been a pleasure. And you all have a great weekend. I'm going to leave you with one more selection from Natalie. You all be blessed.
WDKK Radio. Hi, DA. I've got it all under control. I have the music on from 9 to 5. 24 hours? Oh, my bad. Okay, I'll turn it back on. WDKKRadio.com. 24 hours of great memories.
Listening to the voice inside, and it tells me that I
I trust that you've enjoyed the broadcast today, and if you'd like to receive additional information about WDKK Radio, you can write me at dawilliams@wdkkradio.com. That's dawilliams@wdkkradio.com. And don't forget to tune in to WDKK 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for your listening pleasure. You can find that station on the internet at www.wdkkradio.com. That address again is www.wdkkradio.com. We'll look forward to hearing from you. Remember, you can tune in to the broadcast each day at this time on Blog Talk Radio. And until the next broadcast, remember, enjoy life. It's the only one that you have.